AITA for telling my daughter her much older boyfriend isn't welcome in our home.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. So.
Hi, how you guys doing? I got a haircut. I got a beard thing going. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you're feeling good too. Good catching up. Okay, here we go. My 48 female husband, male 46, and I have a 20-year-old daughter, Ellie, who is currently on vacation from college. About 5 months or so ago, Ellie told us that she had a new boyfriend, who I'll call Tom. This came rather out of the blue, as Ellie hasn't mentioned seeing anyone or that she was dating, but both my husband and I were supportive and happy for her. However, Ellie was strangely secretive about the whole situation. Usually she's an open book, especially with me, and would always share details of her personal life. On this occasion, she wouldn't show any pictures, and we knew next to no information about Tom other than they met at a party through a mutual friend. Ellie spent the past month of her vacation in her college town, and the plan was for her to come back this weekend. Ellie asked if she could bring Tom with her for a few days of the trip, as they were getting serious, and she wanted him to meet us. Although we mentioned that we barely knew anything about him, Ellie expressed that it would be a surprise and that we'd love him. Are you sure? Then why are you hiding him? Given he's clearly an important part of our daughter's life, we agreed and said we look forward to spending the weekend together.
This situation, it smells like a pile of...
Gentle parenting speak only, please.
I know.
She's basically a child.
My dearest Ellie, sweet child of not mine, this has the smell. It stinks.
Yesterday morning, we went to pick up Ellie and Tom from the airport to drive them to our place, and we were shocked. We knew instantly that Tom was much older than Ellie, and he certainly wasn't a college student. I was just in a state of surprise, but didn't want to cause a scene, and told my husband to do the same. We drove home, but it was a frosty journey, which Ellie commented on. When we arrived, my husband point blank asked Tom how old he was. Tom said he was 44.
Oh, an age gap. It's so gappy.
What do you have in common with the... Okay, just... All right. I was immediately disgusted. He's only 2 years younger than my husband and old enough to be Ellie's father. My husband continued to interrogate him, asking how they met and the whole background. Ellie explained that it was at a party and Tom was there because he's well known around the town. And they realized they had a lot in common and hit it off from there.
So what do you two have in common, I wonder a lot about?
I really didn't want to hear any more, and my husband told Tom to leave. Ellie shouted and said how unfair this was, and we hadn't even given Tom a chance, and that he made her happy. Why is he well known around the town? Is he the mayor of the town? Is he the town comptroller? Please be one of those options. Tom could sense the tension, so he left and Ellie followed behind him. I texted Ellie to let her know we'd love to see her and to come over to discuss the situation. She asked if Tom was welcome, and I said he wasn't. Therefore, after labeling me a judgmental a-hole, she told me she wasn't coming and that they would be staying at a local hotel and catching up with friends. I feel terrible about the whole situation, and I don't want to lose my daughter over it. My husband isn't budging and says he'd have to be held back if he ever saw that man again. Am I AITA for saying he isn't welcome, or have I done the right thing?
Here, pause the camera. Hey, how can gentle parenting be gentle when I'm driving around with a bright red flag?
We could tell the editor to figure out how to make the red flag parts less noticeable on screen.
First of all, hi, hello, welcome. Gently press the subscribe button if you're new here. Now, original poster, you are not the a-hole here. Ellie is not the a-hole here. You're all navigating a very, very difficult, tense situation that I can't even imagine trying to navigate because I don't have the experience or the expertise. I just have opinions. But I will say this, I was 20 years old once, and I just know it's not super common for people that age to really, love their parents getting aggressive towards them and trying to stop them from doing what they want to do. Whether it's well-intentioned or not. In this case, it's obviously well-intentioned and very understandable. But if I was 20 years old again, I think I would just want my parents to show interest in the new relationship. That's it. Show interest and just be supportive of me, ask questions about who I'm with, ask how it's going, and just tell me you love and support me, no matter what. If you do it this way, I think you get intel, okay? You get to keep a closer eye on things, and when this ship starts to inevitably sink, and her instincts are screaming at her to get the hell out, she's gonna grab onto your hand and abandon that ship a hell of a lot faster, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying compliment him and encourage it. Just be cordial towards him and show her even more love than you ever have before. That would be how I would handle it. But then again, I don't know everything. I've never been in this situation. Actually, go to therapy too. That should have been my only, thing I said, probably. Okay, so this is a saga. There are multiple updates. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna figure this whole thing out. So here we go. Update number 1. I was incredibly down throughout most of Sunday, so I spoke to my husband and said that I really wanted to see Ellie. However, I knew that wouldn't be possible without also seeing Tom, so I mentioned to my husband about meeting Ellie and Tom at a neutral location for brunch today. I asked my husband if he wanted to join, but he said he didn't feel in the right frame of mind at this stage, so we agreed that I would go alone. I was anxious throughout the drive, but when I met Ellie, those nerves subsided relatively quickly. I was generally just happy to see her and that she was well. I still felt a bit uncomfortable around Tom, but I thought this was the opportunity to find out more about him and his intentions, as it were. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Get the intel, We sat down and I tried to find out as much information about Tom as possible. When I asked him to elaborate on being known around a college town and being at the same party as Ellie, Tom said he used to go to the same college when he was Ellie's age, loved the place, and decided to never leave.
Stay in school doesn't mean that, man.
Still wears his high school ring. 100% chance, and talks about how many touchdowns he scored his senior year. Throughout his time, he still frequented the main bars and places that college students do, which meant he remained in the community in some form. I found it quite an unsettling response, but remained polite. In terms of other details I learned, Tom has never been married, nor does he have any children. He works as a software engineer and enjoys cooking and meditation in his spare time. I'm sure he loves cooking and meditation. Yeah, I'm sure. Something felt off about him, but maybe I already had my preconceptions. Ellie spoke more about what a good match they were and how much in common they had. When I asked her to elaborate, she spoke about how they both loved the same spots around town and campus, with apparently the same love of sushi, and she's never met someone so mature and understanding.
Okay, gentle parenting requires guidance, not control, so start by asking questions that show you care more about their feelings than their choices. Okay. All right, let's try this. Do you feel a sense of alarm yet? No, I shouldn't say yet.
Yeah,
right?
that sounded condescending. Do that again.
Yeah, sorry. Do you feel a sense of alarm?
Tom also said that Ellie was perfect for him and he was serious. I probed if he'd had many other relationships with younger women. Ellie didn't enjoy this question, but Tom said that he generally didn't do relationships, yet something about Ellie had drawn him in.
Do you feel a sense of alarm?
Eventually, about after 2 hours, we ended the brunch. Ellie said how nice it had been, and she was so happy I had shown an interest in Tom before asking whether they could both come to dinner some evening. I told her that would be nice, but I would have to speak to her dad. Tom shook my hand, and that was that. My husband remains reluctant, but I feel it's the right thing to do if we want to maintain a relationship with Ellie. I didn't like Tom off first impressions, and this hasn't done much to convince me. Something is just off there, and some of his answers solidified my thoughts about him not being right for Ellie. I suppose I'll have to remain open-minded, but appreciate any thoughts. I generally don't do relationships, but something about Ellie drew me in. The fact that this is a common abuser sentence blows my mind. Okay? Because let's just break this down. Can we break this down for a second? First off, I generally don't do relationships. Is literally telling her loved ones that you don't have any experience. Most jobs won't even accept that. You think her loved ones, her parents are gonna sit down with you and be like, oh, so you're 44 and you've never dated at once in your entire life? Sure, our tiny little child can be your test subject. No. And second off, there's just something about her that drew me in. Well, what is it? Because not specifying what that thing is makes her parents think one of two things. He's got a dark secret, or he has no idea. And neither one of those things are good. So pick a different play from the playbook. At the very least.
This video is sponsored by Delete Me.
So my PC was hacked a while back, and this is real. This is not a made-up thing for an ad. They took control of my computer screen while I had stepped away to use the bathroom. And when I came back, I saw that they bought a $1,400 gaming computer on my dime. I panicked and just very quickly did some damage control, but I was very, very worried that they had my email address, my actual address, my phone number, my email, all of that stuff, which is terrifying for your own safety reasons, but you're also worried that they're gonna sell your information to data brokers who then publish it on their websites and make your information just really, really easily accessible for everyone. At the time, I didn't use Delete Me, which I feel like a dummy for because they would have taken care of this way quicker than anything that I had been doing. All you do is just you tell them what personal details might be floating around out there, and they'll erase it from these websites. You'll get a detailed report in 7 days, and they'll routinely scan the internet to keep removing this stuff for you year round. They were named the best data removal service by New York Times Wirecutter, which is a pretty big deal. And they're real humans who take care of this for you. So if you ever have a custom request, you can just reach out to them and they will take care of it. Get 20% off all Delete Me plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/pointer and use the code pointer at checkout. That is joindeleteme.com/pointer. Promo code Poynter. After I came home from brunch, I spoke to my husband about the possibility of Tom and Ellie joining us for dinner one evening. My husband was completely against it, but I told him that if we still wanted to exercise some degree of control over the situation before we pushed Ellie away entirely, this was something we had to agree to. It took a lot of convincing, but my husband agreed, and we invited Tom and Ellie to come around the Saturday just gone. Before then, I ended up talking to my oldest daughter and Ellie's sister, Holly, 23, about the situation. Holly was shocked and Ellie had told her nothing. Holly decided to do some social media digging but struggled because Tom didn't have much of an online presence. She said she was coming to dinner on Saturday, although I was reluctant because it seemed like it would spiral. I eventually said yes.
We're very happy that you're happy, Ellie.
Gotta mention Tom somehow.
Tom is happy.
So we get to the dinner on Saturday and Holly just continually grills Tom. It was far, far worse than I did. She asked him if younger girls were his type, why someone his age is still hanging around at college parties, and other small remarks. Ellie told her multiple times to leave her alone, and I tried to act as a mediator. My husband was just silently seething, and I could tell how uncomfortable he felt in Tom's presence. Oh my God. Eventually, Tom and Ellie said they had some big news to share. Ellie announced that she and Tom were planning to move in together for the upcoming college year. Jesus Christ.
Gentle now. Gentle.
No matter what, we all support just you.
No, don't say just.
We all support you.
I almost spat my drink out. Ellie had planned to live with other friends, and when I questioned this, Tom answered that he realized he probably won't have another long-term relationship. Ellie makes him so happy, and he doesn't want to waste any time with who I want to be my wife and the future mother of my children. Oh, okay. Well, everyone was very curious to hear your opinions on it, and what you want. Yeah. Is Ellie allowed to speak or no? No? Okay. At this point, my husband lost it and told Tom to get out of his house. Tom stood up and seemed affronted, and Ellie started crying. I couldn't remember the last time my husband had shouted like that, and I think it surprised Ellie. Holly said it was deserved and she needed to get away from the pedo freak. It all ended up with Ellie leaving in tears with Tom, my husband going upstairs, and I was just inconsolable. I've reached out to Ellie since, but she hasn't responded. I don't want her to move in with Tom, and it seems like he's trying to derail her whole life. She's 20 and does not need to be married and have kids, especially with someone his age. She's never had a relationship before, though, and she appears infatuated to the extent she's not gonna listen. My husband has told me that if Ellie marries Tom, that is it, and he wouldn't want a relationship with her going forwards. I can't agree with that and will always love Ellie, but it doesn't mean that the whole situation hasn't made me incredibly sad. I would appreciate any advice. To me, I feel like kids are very shallow in their understanding of what support is. At least I was. Like, they just are very surface level with it. They go with whatever sounds like support. And I just know at this age, I wouldn't view the family's response as support. I would misconstrue it for control or getting grounded or whatever. I would just go to my room or whatever. God, Mom and Dad, leave me alone. I'm gonna go listen to records in my room. Yeah, the family would get walled off, and I just get closer with that partner because the partner's tone and everything that they're saying sounds like support. And the partner's been telling me, just like everything that I want to hear, really. And I just feel like that's unfortunately how kids act when they're finally getting freedom for the first time, especially if they're in a relationship for the very first time. So I very greatly worry that's what's happening here. But we got one more update. Here we go. A year later, after everything that we just read, this original poster posted this update. So much has happened since then that has been so overwhelming that it caused me to completely forget about this. However, I stumbled upon this Reddit account earlier today, and due to the amount of messages I received, I feel compelled to share an update. For those who don't want to read the whole post, the long and the short of it is, Ellie is engaged and pregnant.
Oh, good. A baby. And bride and groomer. Groom.
The engagement happened around January after only around a year of dating, and the pregnancy was announced in March. Ellie is keeping the baby and is due later this year.
The gift of life.
I'm still heartbroken and struggling to come to terms with the whole affair. Ellie was so bright, cheery, and with an active social life. Now, she lives with Tom in her college town, despite having dropped out of college herself due to the pregnancy, with barely any friends due to most of them distancing themselves from her because of Tom. My husband is also low contact with Ellie and wants nothing to do with Tom, while my daughter Holly also feels the same way and wants nothing to do with Ellie or her baby for as long as she remains with the predator. I still keep in contact with Ellie as much as I can, not only because I love her, but also as I know that if things crumble, she'll have no one to turn to. She's ostracized herself, which makes me incredibly sad, and I never thought things would turn out this way. There was a glimmer of hope around March time, where Ellie called me on the phone in tears after discovering that Tom had cheated on her, unsurprisingly, with another college student, and even a younger one than Ellie.
Okay, I can't do this anymore. Our dearest Ellie, alert, alert!
Although I did try and talk some sense into her and figured this would be a wake-up call, she decided to stay with him after a combination of love bombing and finding out she was pregnant.
Partners should help you grow, not watch you grow up.
I lost all ability to be surprised after the engagement and the pregnancy. So I just... The wedding has been set for next summer, so the baby can be focused on now. My husband and other daughter have already decided that they won't go, and many others on my side of the family are uncomfortable with the idea. I'm trying to stay strong and hope I will love my grandchild, but this isn't something that will ever get easier. If there are any other groundbreaking updates, I will try to share. If not, I appreciate everyone's support and advice. It really meant more than you know. Yeah, look, this is a horrible situation. And I hate it when people are going through something and then people are like, well, at least you blah, 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 blah. It's not helpful. And it's not what I'm trying to do here with what I'm about to say. I'm just trying to offer some perspective to the original poster. In my opinion, I don't think you're going to love your grandchild any less. In fact, I think you're going to love them even more because, number one, they didn't ask to be in this situation. It's not their fault. And number two, I think your protective instincts are going to kick in. I think you know that this child is going to be in a horrible environment and they're going to be seeing things and hearing things that they probably shouldn't be seeing. This child's going to need a lot of time at Gam Gam and Papa's house. In all seriousness, I don't blame anyone for handling this how they did. I've never been in a situation like this. I can't even imagine how I would process it. I think also something like this would make anybody snap. The most patient people in the world aren't going to handle something like this perfectly. I genuinely wish these people nothing but the best. I'm about to read another Reddit story. You just have to click the little box in the top left-hand corner and then we'll get started. It's easily one of the craziest Reddit stories I've ever read on this channel. Click there. That's my time. Toodles.